Hello and welcome to our next episode. This episode is totally raw, completely raw. My main computer, my video editing computer, it's an editing suite I have. The motherboard fried, so I have no way of editing videos or doing any of that. So this is just raw. I may make mistakes and I can't cut them out. So this is gonna be, totally raw. So I do apologize if it gets a little rocky at times. I do have a favor to ask all of you. This is going to be one of the most important videos I ever make. I believe that if people watch this video, it could change lives. I know, that sounds pretty big. But past 4 years of my life have been a living nightmare, pure hell. And how I survived, I really don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know how I've made it this far. But I do know there are a lot of people who haven't made it this far. Someone from my past, a friend of mine, gave up on life. He was dealing with difficulties, a really serious issue, and he couldn't fight it. And he gave up. He gave up on life. And I know that there are a lot of people who have done that. And I was almost one of them. I can't tell you how many times I came close to giving up and ending it all. I don't say that lightly. So, the favor I'm asking is that not only do you watch this whole video, I know we are in 2016, everybody wants a video to be 15 seconds long and that's it. But 15 seconds long is not going to change your life. This will. If you are going through anything close to what I've gone through, whatever issue it may be, you may be lost. You may need that hope, that inspiration. You may need to understand the situation you're in. Maybe you don't understand why you're going through all that. Well, I'm going to show you today through my own life that I believe I went through what I went through for these past 4 years because it was leading me somewhere. And I never would have gotten there if it wasn't for all of this bad stuff. So, again, the favor that I'm asking you is to please share this video. Share it whatever social media site you're on. Let as many people know about it as you can. Get it out there. Talk about it. Give it a thumbs up. If you're watching this on Facebook, give the video a thumbs up. Share the video to your timelines, Twitter, whatever. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, like the video, put it in your favorites. I truly believe the more people who see this, the more lives are going to change. The more people who will be able to get past the difficulties they're having. So here it is. 4 years ago, I was in a really good place. Now, I haven't really been happy in my life. Not even in my childhood. And I had a pretty decent childhood, but I was never fully happy. And between the time of 2008 to about 2011, I was actually happy. I got to experience that. Things in my life got great. I got a house. I felt awesome here. I had to work on the house. It needed a lot of work, so I put my movie career on hold for a while just so I could physically rebuild this house and redo it. And I felt good about it. I was learning a lot, and I was just enjoying life, traveling around to different places. And for those who don't know, I love photography, so I had my camera wherever I went, and I just felt great. Everything was just going well. And then 2012 came along. And in 2012, I had 3 main goals. And I accomplished 2 of them. And I was feeling great. I was like, wow, I accomplished these 2 goals. Now it's the big one. And the big one was to finally make a movie that would be the movie that gives me the success I had been chasing after for so long. I felt that this film was going to do it. It was going to be funny, adventurous, it was going to have horror, sci-fi in it, and it was going to be unique and a story that hasn't really been done, at least not in the way that I was going to do it. So I was really excited, and I started working on it, and everything that I was doing was working out. I mean, I couldn't wait to wake up in the morning and get to work on it. It was that exciting to me. Now, I pay for my movies. I apologize. See, like I said, this is a raw video. My stupid program here continues to change my adjustments. I don't like autofocus, as you can see, so let me fix that. All right, it shouldn't do that again. I apologize for that. Anyways, in order to survive, I have to have a job. I pay to make my movies. So whatever money I was making from these films and my work in the entertainment business, I was just reinvesting it. And the biggest deal I ever had bought me this house. So that money went to this house. So I still needed a job. And as it turned out, and I will talk about this more in a future video, I'll go into more details, but I found out about 2 years ago that I have a near severe case of social anxiety disorder. And just briefly what that is, it's people think you're shy, that, you're quiet and you can't communicate. The problem is it makes you fear a lot of things. Not necessarily fear that, oh, someone's going to break in my house. In my case, it wasn't that. Some people do have those fears. They're afraid of getting sick if they touch things, or they're afraid of this. It comes in many different forms. For me, it was a fear of failure, a fear of losing, a fear of rejection, a fear of people hating me, a fear of what people would think of me. And you heard that whole thing, sticks and bones could break my bones, but names can never hurt me. If someone said something bad about me, it would stay with me. And I'm in a business where people review, they review your work, they compliment you, they don't compliment you, they insult you. I mean, I've heard some really nasty things. People will take the time to write me a message just to bash me and say horrible things to me. Now, on the flip side, there are a lot more people who take the time to write me incredible messages that have inspired me. But it's those nasty messages that stick with you when you have this thing in you. And part of it, too, is I hated myself. I mean, red hot hatred. I hated me. I hated the way I looked, the way I sounded. I thought I was a talentless nothing. And I believed that I was nothing, that I was worthless. So every relationship I was in, if it was like a romance thing, it failed. Because if the woman was attracted to me, I didn't believe it. If she said nice things about me, I didn't believe it. I always got two compliments. They were my eyes. Girls liked my eyes, and they loved the way I sounded. They loved my voice. I heard one person say, I sounded like, my voice was as smooth as vanilla ice cream. I didn't even know how to respond to that. I've heard it multiple times that girls said I'm soothing, that they like listening to me because I'm so soothing. Now, that was, of course, a while ago. Now my voice has changed a little. But still, I didn't believe it. And the eye thing, I was like, no, my eyes are just crap. They're crap, they look stupid, whatever. I didn't realize that hazel eyes, and especially my type where it's brown in the middle, green on the edge, and then a blue ring on the end, that's considered exotic. The whole point I'm trying to make here is that's how much I hated myself. I couldn't see any of the good qualities I had. And because of that, if other people did, I didn't believe them. And that sucked because they caught on. And I'm sure a lot of them were like, I can't take this guy anymore. He doesn't believe me, and maybe that means he doesn't trust me. And so they would leave. Nobody ever gave me a shot. They would give up on me. Everybody. And I always blamed them. I didn't realize it was me, but that's what this anxiety order did to me. If people invited me to parties or to go have coffee with them, I find an excuse to get out of it. If I had to go to a wedding, I would have such anxiety. I would get stomach sickness, migraines. I mean, this happened with everything. And I'm not just talking about people either. When I faced success, it happened. I almost had a major Hollywood deal. I mean, huge. See, I told you this was going to be raw. An Academy Award-winning actress. You would know who she is. She's in one of my favorite movies. Top actress. She's been doing it since she was a child. So there's some clues. You could try to figure that out there. She was a child actress. But huge. She actually wanted to meet me in New York and work with me. She wanted to work side by side with me, be partners in these movies. She saw 2 movies I made, was impressed with how I made them with the kind of budget I had, and knew that I was someone she wanted to work with. And the same day I was supposed to meet with an executive of a major Hollywood film studio. They wanted me to produce a TV show. And I feared it. I feared it. I thought, I'm not good enough. She's going to meet me. She's going to be like, oh my God, he's an amateur. There's no way in hell I could work with him. I thought he was a good director from what I saw, but no way, he sucked. And I kept fearing it and fearing it and fearing it and wishing it away, even though I wanted it more than anything. It would have been my big break. And because of that, it never happened. I truly believe I willed it away. I wasn't aggressive. I wasn't pushing it. I kind of just kept avoiding it. It doesn't make sense, does it? It's what I wanted more than anything. I could be right now, I'm not saying this would happen, but the Academy Awards are coming up, and you may have been watching me nominated for my movie, my starring role in The Reverend. Maybe they wanted me instead of Leonardo DiCaprio. You never know. But here I am. I'm still struggling. I'm trying to get back on the horse. And that leads me back to 2012. I worked in warehouses and factories doing mundane crap. And I don't want to insult these companies. They're employing people. People are allowed to survive because of businesses like that. But for me, I didn't belong there. I never did. It's not where I belong. I belong writing, filmmaking, acting, creating, photography, cinematography, that kind of stuff. That's me. That's what makes me breathe in the morning. That's the reason why I get up. Not these jobs. But I'm not stupid. I have to survive. So that's why I worked at these places. And I was working in this warehouse in 2012, and actually, I was able to tolerate it. I actually worked with great people. The bosses were decent. I got along with everybody there. It really was not a stressful job. It was a place that you didn't take home with you. When the day ended, the day ended. It wasn't like it was projects that would continue through the week. Everything stopped on that day and we started over the next day. But I would do things like wrap skids and inspect skids, which I hated. I hated inspecting skids. And deal with truck drivers, and I hated that too because a lot of them would come in with attitude problems, and then of course I'd lose my temper with them and there'd be arguments or whatever. But it was a job. And I was always miserable because, like I said, I would rather have been on a movie set. I'd rather be in front of the computer writing a screenplay. So I hated being there. And my best friend always knew that. I knew my best friend since the 7th grade. It took me 10 years to finally trust him because he was a pathological liar. He lied about everything. He lied about his life, who he was, everything. And those of you who were my friends in the past, you probably know that, if you knew who I was talking about, that he made up a lot of stories, and none of us really knew what to believe. So when I went through a really tough time in 1994 into 95, he was the only one who was really there. He knew it. He witnessed a lot of stuff, so that's probably one of the reasons. He saw things happen. He saw bad things happen. So he knew I wasn't making it up. He witnessed it. And so he was there. And he never really had to say anything. He never did say, hey, you want to talk about it? Because I didn't. I never talked about it. Instead, he'd be like, hey, it'd be like midnight. And he'd say, hey, let's go have a late dinner. And we'd drive far, far away. And that was the thing. He just knew what to do. Drive far away to get me far away from wherever it was I was and dealing with. And just go somewhere. He would take me to the movies or whatever. He was a really good friend. And that's when I started to trust him. So for all the years, he witnessed the roadblocks I faced. He saw how I was trying so hard to take my film career somewhere, and then these roadblocks would happen, whether it would be related to the film career or related to my life or my family. And he would see it. And he would see these things just come at me over and over and over and over again. And he would take me aside and say, we all have problems. We all go through things. But geez, man, the stuff that you keep going through, I don't know how the hell you deal with it. And these aren't just small problems. These are giant freaking problems. And they just keep happening. And it doesn't sound real when I tell people what happens. They don't know what to take of it. When they see me, they would go, what now? That's what it became. It was never, hey, Mike, how you doing? It was always, what now? And then I'd have to say, well, The pipes in my attic froze and my living room flooded. I had my chimneys cleaned and then was told they're bad and that I can't run a fire unless this gets fixed, so it cost me all this money more. Oh yeah, I went to take in my truck for a routine oil change and was told that this thing went bad. I mean, it was like that just all the time. And I didn't want to let it control me, but it was delaying me because I'd be in the middle of, say, writing a screenplay, getting ready to shoot a movie, but then these giant problems come along that I can't ignore, and I could never get to that next step. And he said, how the hell do you do it? How do you keep going? How do you do it? I don't understand. I would have given up a long time ago, but you don't. You just keep going. And I would say, I can't give up. It's not in me. I don't know how to do it. It's because I believe in what I'm doing. And I know that no matter how long it takes for me to get there, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get there. I'm going to make it. I know it. I have always known it. And so I can't give up. And he goes, well, I guess I just don't get it because I couldn't do it. I would have given up a long time ago. I mean, fuck that. And that's what he'd say. Fuck that. He said that a lot. So with all that being said, he knew who I was and what I was going through and the losses I had and how devastated I was by some of these losses. Things I don't even want to share with you right now. I suffered one loss that was a long time ago that really hurts. Really hurts. And it's my fault. And I have to live with it. And he knew that. He knew that how much it bothered me. So with all that being said, he was going through a tough time in 2009. His mother was dying from cancer. He had nobody. His family was gone. She was all he had. And he lost his job. And he lost his job because they were pushing him. They knew he was going through what he was going through, but they kept pushing him. And instead of being sympathetic or understanding the amount of stress he was going under, they just kept until one day he was like, I've had enough! I'm done with all of you! I can't take it anymore! And they thought he was joking. They're like, are you serious? He's like, fuck it, I'm serious. I am serious. I can't take any of you anymore. I'm done with this. I'm done. And he said that's what he just kept saying. I'm done. And he was walking around the building going, I'm done. So he calls me. He tells me about it. And he waited a week to tell me, which I thought was odd. And I knew what he was going to ask me, but he didn't want to ask me. He felt uncomfortable, but I knew. Sometimes I just know things. It's actually an ability I have. I just know things. People don't have to ask me or tell me something. I just know. I could sometimes finish your sentence before you do. I know. It's a bizarre thing I have. So I knew what he wanted. He wanted a job. And he wanted to work with me because he knew the kind of work that I was doing, and I think he just wanted something quick. He didn't want to have to go out on the road and look for a job while he's trying to take care of his mother. So, as a friend, I would normally never do this. I don't believe friends should work with each other. It could destroy the friendship. And I feared that. And I had worked with him before. He was in a few of my movies. He was on my television show. And we had a lawn mowing business. But we didn't spend that much time together. A couple of hours here, a couple hours there. Never 8 hours a day in a place that stresses you out, in a job that I hate. So I was worried about that. But I knew, I'm a friend. I have to be a friend. I have to do something here. So I convinced my bosses to hire him. And they did. And it went well. We got along. It was great. It was fine. 2012, the company starts talking about laying people off. It was based on unjust fears. It had nothing to do with the bad economy. It was other things. But he was the most paranoid person I've ever known. He thought everybody hated him. And maybe he had an anxiety disorder. I don't think so, because he wasn't afraid to act like a total ass in front of people. He was a nut job, quite honestly, and we all thought it was funny. So I don't think he had those anxieties. He just was paranoid. Oh, this person doesn't like me. Oh, they're talking about me, aren't they? What did they say about me? Huh? Oh, this... And he would I remember he called a girl a bitch because he thought she didn't like him or something. And I was like, what are you doing? Well, I thought she said I was a jerk. I was like, no, she didn't say that. I was there, she didn't say that. Well, that's what I heard. So she's a bitch. So he was very paranoid. And he thought he was going to lose his job. He'd be the first to go. So, one day, he takes me aside and he confesses something to me. He told me that he had been going into the office and telling the office staff that he's afraid of me, that I'm violent, I'm a monster, that I'm going to kill him. He was afraid that I was going to kill him. He told them that I would purposely drive the forklift around and crash it into things because I was angry, and that I would have violent outbursts. He made me sound so bad. A total opposite of who I am. I'm not violent. I don't hit people. I don't do any of those things. Nobody's afraid of this. But you should be. All right, just kidding there. Or am I? What he did was so awful. I had no comment. I couldn't respond. I was stunned. He even said, look, I know you might not want to talk to me anymore, and that's okay. I get it, but I had to tell you. I just... And I just said nothing. The company turned on me. The bosses turned on me. They actually gave me some of the worst moments of my life. They had multiple meetings with me, and what they said, especially the owner of the company, was so belittling and so awful that I didn't want to live anymore. I know that sounds odd, but I couldn't get up in the morning. I couldn't look in a mirror. I couldn't, because I heard someone explain a person who wasn't real, yet they said that was me. They painted a picture that wasn't true. They made these assumptions about me that weren't true. And it made me feel so icky. That's the proper word, icky. Just, ugh. And then I'd have to go in there and work with this person who was my best friend, who saw me go through all of that stuff, and yet would purposely set out to destroy me, would purposely hurt me. He knew what would happen to my life if I lost that job. He knew what would happen. I'd lose it all. Everything I fought so hard for, all of the roadblocks I had gone through, the hell I went through. And he knew, but he did it anyways. Why did he do it? I think it was to save his job. No, actually, it was to steal my job and keep his employment in the business that he had because I got him that job. And he was willing to risk our friendship over it. And I will never understand that. I have no answers. I don't know. I can't understand it. And I had a mix of emotions back then. I didn't know what to feel because here he is, my best friend. A person I trusted as much as I trusted my own family members. He was like a brother. A person who had always been there. And now he was my enemy. He did some of the cruelest things I think anybody has ever done to me. And I never saw it coming. Ever. So I had to live with that. Well, eventually it all led to me losing the job. They actually fired me. I had never been fired before, and that made me feel awful because I was proud of the fact that I never got fired because I'm a good worker. I work hard. I don't sit there and bitch and moan all day about everything. I try to solve problems. I try to make the place better than it was when I got there. I'm honest. I mean, I'm so honest they would take me aside to tell me that and say, I know when I ask you a question, I'm always going to get a straight answer. Because they would ask, hey, how's it going? And I would say, it kind of sucks today. And then tell them why. I couldn't just lie and say, oh, I'm good. But they respected that. And yet, they fired me because of him, what he had done. But it was 5 months later. So I don't know what else he was doing. He was sabotaging my job. He actually was physically sabotaging my work. I saw him do it. But after I lost my job, I had this thought in my head that I can't let this bring me down. I can't let him win. I can't let them win. I'm going to survive and I'm going to make it. And so that next day, I got to work immediately, working from home. I created multiple businesses. I have an Etsy shop, and it's actually done well. I have a Fiverr business where I do videos for people, and that led me to becoming Santa Claus and has done really well. I started getting involved in internet marketing and all different kinds of businesses. But the problem is, it was extremely difficult. I had no life. All I did was work. 24 hours a day, and sometimes 48 hours. I wouldn't sleep. I'd wake up, go to work, and continue to work all day, all night, 7 days a week, constantly. Sometimes, 48 hours straight. I'd be so tired, I would start to hallucinate, and I could swear I saw the Smurfs having lunch on my dinner table. I could swear it. I know Sasquatch came to my house and tried to sell me magazine subscriptions. I know it. He was there. I saw him. I was depressed because even though I was doing all of that, I wasn't making enough money. So I couldn't pay my bills. And I'm a very responsible person. Very responsible. And yet, I couldn't pay my bills. I couldn't pay for my mortgage. I couldn't buy food. And then, everything that could go wrong did. Everything. The hot water boiler in my house went. It stopped working. I couldn't afford to fix it. The thing actually had to be replaced. It was bad. There was no way I could get the money to do that. So, I lived for 17 months without hot water. I live in the Northeast. It gets cold here, and especially these last few winters have been extremely cold. There I was, taking a bath inside of a mop bucket, because I would boil water, pour it in a mop bucket, stand in the mop bucket to clean myself. It made me feel so small, so horrible. I thought, I'm a grown man. I've done everything right. I've tried to do it right. And here I am, giving myself a sponge bath in a mop bucket. I sometimes would go all day without eating because I couldn't afford to buy food. I would freeze in my house because to run the heat was too much. So I had to conserve the wood. I have a wood stove, thank God. But I'd have to conserve the wood, so I'd have to decide, okay, will I survive tonight in this house without heat? Can I do it? Is it not that cold? So I would have to take my chance. Shivering while I slept. I got sick. Really, really sick. I had a fever of 106 and we couldn't get it under control. It kept going up. That's close to death. I was that close to death. Because it was so cold outside, I went outside and that's how I got my temperature to go down. But as soon as I went indoors again, it went right back up. I had fluid in my lungs. For 7 months, I'd wake up every night throwing up. Every single night, because I would choke. It was horrible. I couldn't run my business properly because of the exhaustion, and I couldn't do these videos. Part of what I do is videos. And I couldn't do it because I couldn't speak. I lost my voice for 7 months. And when it goes on for that long, you think, will this ever end? I mean, come on. I know people can be sick for a couple weeks, but God, it's like month after month. And my depression would grow and grow and grow. And then my businesses had so many highs and lows. I mean, God, it would be like really bad and things would go so bad and then no money's coming in and then it would do good and then it would go bad again and then it'd be problem after problem after problem. And I'm dealing with that and it's like taking up all my time, but then I got my house to deal with and I gotta go and keep putting logs on the fire and I gotta figure out how to get hot water in the house and then go boil water and do this and that. And then the mortgage. Then the calls. The non-stop phone calls all day, waking me up early in the morning at 5 a.m. Where's our money? Where's our money? Where's our money? You know, you have a responsibility. I know, I lost my freaking job. I'm trying. You start to feel like someone has taken every piece of you and they're pulling you in every possible direction. And you're just being ripped apart. And it's just like... And to make matters worse, my family had a dog. This beautiful dog. This pit bull named Sierra. She had lived with all of us at some point in time. And she was an angel in the form of a dog. Before she came into our lives, my family, we weren't that close. We had changed so much from all of the crap that happened to us back in the 90s that we kind of weren't really connected anymore. And this dog came into our lives and she brought such happiness and joy. She got us laughing again. I remember sitting in the living room with my family not saying a word to them. But this dog came in and she would get us laughing and then would have us going. And I always felt like she was brought here to do that. And she lived a long time. And she was like a puppy her whole life. And exactly 1 month to the day when I lost my job, she died. And what was really awful is we had to watch her die. You see, I made sure to go to my mother's place on Wednesdays because I would just go there to spend time with her, with the dog. So every Wednesday, that became a thing. After work, I'd go right over there and spend time with the dog. And my mother would tell me that Sierra knew. She would actually start around 4:30, I think it was, or when did I get out of there? 4:30. So around 5 o'clock, she would get up and go sit by the door on Wednesdays. She knew I was coming. And the days I couldn't go, she'd be upset. And that was painful because when I lost my job, I couldn't do it anymore. I was trying to survive, and it bothered me. And I thought, my God, I'm hurting this dog. But still, my family would get together every Friday night, and I would see her then also. So, in her last days, I spent time with her. We all did. And she was in bad shape, and it was painful to watch. But on the exact day, 1 month to the day that I lost my job, she died. I thought, how? Why now? Why now? She was really all I had at that time. That really made me feel good. She was always excited to see me, take her little paws and put them around my neck and hug me. She loved to hug. She loved to be cuddled. It could be like 110 degrees out and she wanted you to hold her. She always made me laugh. Always. An amazing dog. And then I felt that emptiness of her being gone. Meanwhile, I'm fighting for my life here. My depression got so bad that I stopped getting out of bed. One day I went like 3 days without getting out of bed. My mother and one of my brothers actually broke into my house because they thought something bad had happened to me. And then when I walked out of the room, I saw the look in their face like, oh my God. I couldn't even walk. I had no strength. I had gotten so weak. I felt so lost. I had a lot of highs and lows because sometimes I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it. I'm going to get through this. It's going to happen. I'd get involved in an aspect of my business and I thought, people are going to like this. They're going to like what I'm doing here. It's going to work. And then it wouldn't. I would spend weeks on one project and believe in it. And then I'd go put it out there and it would go nowhere. And it'd chip away at me. My brakes went on my truck. My brakes go. You couldn't go when I had a job. You can't wait until this problem's over. No, you gotta go now. That's how it was. Everything would go wrong. I'm telling you, this is true. I had a laptop. The thing broke. While that laptop broke, of course, I have to go pay for a new one, which I can't afford. I get the new laptop. While I'm loading my programs into this brand new laptop, it freaking breaks. At the same exact time that this laptop breaks, my video editing computer, which is a very expensive computer, it took a long time to build it, but it's my most important tool, at the same time, that broke. I wasn't even doing anything. It was sitting there and it just goes. How do 3 computers go at the same exact time? But that's what would happen. This would happen, this would happen, this would happen. Then this would happen, that would happen, this would happen. I'm fighting to do this, I'm fighting to do this, I'm trying to survive. I got everybody pulling me in every possible direction, and all these things keep going wrong. At the same time, I learn about my social anxiety disorder. And then I know, okay, now I get it. I get why my life has sucked. I get why people thought I hated them, because I would reject them all the time, based on my own fears of them rejecting me. I understand now why I never made it to where I needed to go in my film career, because of the fear. I understand now why relationships I've been in ended because of my own fears, because of what I did. But you know what? I can't deal with this now. I will deal with it someday. And so I put it off. I put off fixing. I didn't want medication for it. I know I don't need therapy. I can figure this stuff out on my own. I can fix it myself. But I just couldn't deal with it. So I put it off. And then last summer, I had to figure out why I had it. As I thought, well, I'm not going to be able to fix it unless I figure out why I had it in the first place. And when I figured out why I had it, it was very hard to deal with, very hard to accept. When I was a child, I was mentally abused. I was mentally abused. Pretty badly. I was told many years ago that this happened to me, and I denied it. I was like, no way was I abused. Not me, no, I'm not that weak. There's no way I could put up with that. No, I wasn't. But I was. By a family member. An important family member. And this person was a true bully and said awful, awful things to me. Laughed at me, insulted me, body shamed me all the time, laughed at how I walked, would actually put on a comedy routine, pretending to be me, and going, I'm Mike, look at how I walk. I didn't know at that point in time what it was doing to my head. I didn't know. And I never knew. I knew those things happened. I just took it as him just being a jerk. But I didn't take it as it actually destroying my brain. Putting things into my head. So, as I grew up, that's why I hated myself. That's why I thought I was no good. That's why I didn't think I was good enough for anybody. So if someone liked me, if someone was attracted to me, if a girl thought I was something, I didn't believe her because I thought I was nothing. And because of that, I never was happy. Okay, I know this has been a long video and I apologize for that, but you can't change lives sometimes with a 30-second video. So how does all of this matter? How does this change anything? How does this make your life better? Let me tell you about one of my lowest moments. And this happened not that long ago. The most difficult business for me has been my marketing business. It has been so hard because I believed in it so much. And I had spent about a week working on a shitload of work. I didn't go to sleep. I actually set my office up in the living room, so I was right near the kitchen, and I just worked nonstop. I was so tired. But I knew I was building something that was going to succeed. And on the last day, I finished the last piece of work. I have like 2 things left, and a notice comes up. And in order to run this business, I had to have this account online, and it's basically for business people. And I was told that I have reached all my limits, that I have to pay for more. Now, I don't have the money to invest anymore. And I got upset by that. So I went to the website and noticed that the web owner had a actual complaint department. That's what it was called. So I thought, well, you know what? I will contact them through that. And I just simply said, how come this wasn't anything, how come there wasn't an awareness of this? How come there wasn't any notice of this? He took it as something else. He shut down my account and he goes, you know what? I'm tired of sniffling little bitches like you who gotta complain. You know what? I put everything I have into this business to make it something and make it affordable for you people, and all you do is bitch and moan. Well, guess what? If you're not willing to work for it, I don't want you here. You're done. I shut your whole account down. All your work's gone. I snapped. I broke. That was weeks of work, tons of hours, tons of hope that I had. Gone. I broke out into this hot sweat. I mean, it was instant. I started boiling. And I got so angry. And my whole life just blacked out. I lost my mind. All I could think was, this is it. What I'm going to say is going to be disturbing to some of you, but I have to tell you. I went into my garage. I took an electric cord and I swung it over the rafters. And I made a noose out of it. And then I grabbed a stool and I climbed it and I put the noose around my neck. And I was about to kick the stool. But just one little piece of me that's in me, that's always in me, that no matter how bad things get, that little piece of determination I have in me, that doesn't allow me to give up, even on life, it came through. And it said, no. No. So I got off the stool and I went back in the house and somehow called this guy. Called him on the phone and said, what are you doing to me? Do you know how hard I worked? I don't want nothing or something for nothing. Do you know what I've been through? Do you know how much crap I've gone through? I'm losing everything. I've already lost everything. I don't even know who I am anymore. And I just spent weeks building all of this, and you just ended all of my work. You ended my business. And he goes, I didn't end your business. I said, yes, you did. By ending my account, everything I have done is gone. I was truly believing in this. I believed this was going to help me. They're going to put a foreclosure on my house. This was going to stop it. And you just shut me down. He actually came around and he restored my account, all of my work, and actually gave me my money back and let me have the account for free. Unfortunately, still, the business failed. And a couple months ago, I decided I can't beat a dead horse anymore. I'm ending the business and I'm focusing on this. Doing these kind of videos, going back into writing screenplays and trying to do something with my film career again. But here's the thing now. How is it that, what's going to inspire you? All of this crap I just told you about? No. Because now you know all of the crap I've been through and how low I was and how I almost ended my life. But here's what's most amazing. I survived. I survived, and I'm here today, still in my house. Yes, they put a foreclosure on it. I had to go back and forth to court. I have had to fill out more paperwork than I've ever filled out in my entire life. I have had migraines and have been sick to my stomach dealing with it. Every time the bank calls, every time I get a letter in the mail, I cringe. It ruins my day. And I will tell you right now, this isn't over. I'm still dealing with this house. It's not over yet. They've been working with me. They're trying to come up with a solution. I haven't heard from them in quite a while. I did receive a letter yesterday and I haven't opened it. I'm afraid to open it. But I believe that everything I went through was leading me somewhere. Here's where I hope to inspire you. Because of what I lost, because my best friend cost me my job, because I got fired, it allowed me to get out of that routine. It allowed my mind to think differently, to start thinking more about focusing on how I reach success and why I can't. Instead of focusing on, oh, I can do it, I could keep going. But why haven't I been able to make it? It allowed me to discover that I have a social anxiety disorder because I was forced to look at my life and examine it and basically split it open and spread it out and look at everything that happened and put it all together. The lows I've been through, the highs I've been through. It taught me that, yes, I'm a survivor. Those things tried to bring me down, but I made it through. In 2015, things started getting better. I'm not saying great, but I got a new job. My businesses have done well. I'm now where I used to be. I also learned for the first time in my life how not to feel stress anymore. It happens once in a while, but not like it used to. Stress has wreaked havoc on me. It caused me a lot of physical problems. And I've been stressed out ever since I was young. I stopped growing in the 8th grade. My growth got stumped. I stopped growing. I was so stressed out because of my parents' divorce and what was going on then, and I didn't understand that the abuse I was going under, what it was doing to me. But now I don't let those things bother me as much. I don't feel that stress anymore. And I'm hopeful now. And not only that, I'm able to do what I'm doing right now. I just watched a video from the late 90s. And I was just going to take a still from it when I had really long hair. And I stopped growing my hair. I think it was in 95 because I met this girl who liked me with long hair. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep growing it. And I just stopped cutting it. And it got down like past my shoulders and almost to my elbows. And I never took photos of myself back then. I never even smiled back then. I was in a dark place and I wasn't happy. So I took a still off the video. But while I'm watching the video to find the right moment, for Throwback Thursday, that's why I did the still, I was listening to myself talk and I thought, oh my God, I actually spoke like that? There is no way that person from those years ago would have been able to do what I do now. There's no way that person could inspire anybody, could change anybody's life. There is no way that could happen because I couldn't articulate it. I wasn't speaking well enough. I wasn't focused when I spoke. Now I am. And this is new. And for some people who haven't seen me in the past couple years, you may be thinking, his voice is a little different. That's because after losing my job and working for myself, I developed a business where I do voiceover work. So I had to learn how to speak clearly and better. And speak more from my lungs than just my throat. And because of that, I sound a little different. So my life has changed dramatically. Even though it was bad, also in good ways. I also know that I'm a far better actor now than I used to be. That I can do things I haven't been able to do. I know how to become a character and make it believable. Unlike before where I would be thinking about, oh, I got to get this shot. I got to do this. I got to do that. You know, and in my movies, I've had a lot of kissing scenes. Yes. They were pretty nice. But I also would let my anxiety take over, and I'd start to think, oh my God, they're going to think I'm a bad kisser, and then they're going to tell other actors, and these girls are going to be like, I don't want to kiss him. He's going to be an awful kisser. It's going to be awful. It's not going to be believable. It has to be believable, and he's going to be awful. And I just thought of things like that. Then I thought, well, you know, it's my movie. What if they think I'm a perv, and I purposely wrote this in just so I could kiss them? And I would have thoughts like that. But that's not true. When you write, especially, and I get angry with movies when I see it done the wrong way, there are natural points in time in a movie when a kiss should happen. I always hate when they just put it in there just for the sex factor. You know, oh, let's make them kiss now, just to put it in there. And to me, it ruins the story. It needs to be there at the right moment in time. And when you film a movie, we all know when that is. When we do improv, which I do that a lot, it'll just happen. And you can see that moment when it comes because of our improv, because of what we're making up on the spot. But with my anxiety disorder, my thoughts would go other places. Well, that's gone now. I could focus now. And then the best news. I know what's been wrong with me. I know that I have this anxiety disorder, and I would not have known it. I would have not have ended up in this place if it wasn't for losing it all, if it wasn't for all the crap I went through. And because of that, in the past few months, I have been changing my life in dramatic ways. I have the confidence now to talk about these things in front of you. People from my past I've made peace with. And it's much deeper now, the relationships with them. And I'm not saying we talk every day, but I mean like, we have gotten to know each other in ways that we never knew before. Things about us that we didn't know. So these friendships I have, I think, are stronger now. And that there is a different connection there. And I think there's a respect there that wasn't there before. Not that we didn't respect each other. I just think there's something stronger now. And I faced fears that I've had. I'm trying to apologize to some people who I feel I've hurt because of what I didn't understand, and, you know, that's an ongoing thing. But the fact is, I'm doing things out of my comfort zone. Recently, I released a song. I had a fear of that. I couldn't sing in front of people, but I did it. And it went over well. People liked it. And I'm trying to figure out how I can do that more. And I'm doing a lot of things out of my comfort zone. Things that I feared. So yeah, my life isn't great right now. It's not perfect. But you know what? It is better. And I'm a better person because of all the BS I've gone through. These 4 years were so bad that I pray I never have to go through it again. That this is the lowest my life will ever be, and that the rest of my life will be better. And I'm going to fight for that. I want to be happy. I want to find that right person, my soulmate, and get married and live a good, happy life. I don't want this shit to ever happen again. And I don't want to let it happen again. And I don't think it will. I think it taught me some things. And that's how we survive. We take the bad stuff and we learn from it. And instead of blaming everybody else, instead of getting down on yourself because of what's happening and giving up and letting it win, you look at yourself and you figure out what you could do to make it better. What about you? Okay. If I do this, if I accomplish this, I'll be better. Maybe I have this wrong with me. Maybe I do this too much. I can fix this. I could work on this. I can make the commitment to this. What makes you happy? Live what makes you happy. You know, I let work control me. I worked all the time, nonstop. So over the course of the past, 8 months, actually maybe even longer, no, about 8 months, I said, you know what makes me happy? Going outside, somewhere in nature with my camera, and just taking photographs. Feeling nature, being at peace with it, taking it in, thinking. That makes me happy. Going to the movies. I stopped going to the movies. That makes me happy. So I need to find the time to take those breaks. However I do it, I need to find that time. Even if it's rushed, which happens a lot. I have to stop what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to take a break now. I'm going to go to the movies right now. And it could be hard because while I'm at the movies, I'm thinking about all the crap I have to do when I get back. But still, I need to take those moments. Do what makes you happy. Life is short. Not too long ago, my coworker, he was 48. He just suddenly died. He was so excited about life at that point in time. He had just become, his daughter had a child when she was a bit young, so he became a grandfather. And he wanted to do right by his grandson. He wanted to make sure his grandson had a good life. And he was excited about it. And just like that, he's gone. We don't know. So why should we put things off until tomorrow? I put off fixing my anxiety issue until tomorrow. But when I finally started to deal with it, I started to beat the battle. I'm winning this battle. It's not controlling me anymore. And yeah, okay, I have my bad days when I look in a mirror and I go, I can't stand the way that thing looks. I don't like whatever that is. But I fight it. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe the way other people see me, they don't see me the way I see me. Maybe they see someone who's good looking and a good person and funny and smart. Maybe they see me better than what I see me. So I need to stop thinking this way. I can't think this way. I do know for a fact that people like talking to me. They like it. Strangers will have conversations with me. It actually became a joke. I would go shopping with my friend. They would never say a word to him, but they always would talk to me. Or they would start to talk to him, and then I'd show up, and they turn around and forget he existed and start talking. He would say, why does everybody talk to you? What, am I invisible? Sometimes I felt bad because he'd be talking to an attractive girl, and maybe there was something going on there, and then she'd see me and she'd start talking to me. I'm not saying because she thought, hey. I'm just saying people somehow feel something. So why should I think that I'm nothing? Obviously, I'm something. I get messages now from people, I don't even know them, who say, you inspire me. You taught me things. You have made a difference. My Santa videos. People telling me my children stopped believing in Santa and stopped believing in Christmas, and you brought us the magic back. I don't know how to thank you for what you've given us. Another person said, you have made a difference to children all over the world. I can't even fathom what you have done here with this thing you've created. Other people saying, you have no clue how many people you have made happy. And recently, I think it was last week, I teach some online courses, and I thought these courses were going nowhere, not making a difference to anybody. And this woman wrote to me and said, I can't stop watching the last video in the course. It's so inspiring. I cry every time I watch it. You have given me hope. You inspire me. And I know that I can make it and do something with myself because of what you said. And she said, I watch this video every single day. Those things are proof to me that I can make a difference. And I'm doing it. None of this would have been possible if all of this bad stuff hadn't happened. But it did. And for all of you who are going through anything, no matter how big or how small it is, you can make it. You can overcome it. There's a purpose to this. It's all leading you somewhere. And that somewhere is something good. Something better. So Yeah, I lost my best friend. That sucks. But you know what? My life's better without him. I know that sounds bad, but you know what? My life is better without him. If that's who he is, that's who he is. I don't need him. I know people today who are better than he is. Better people. And I'd rather have good people in my life than bad people. And I would have been stuck in that job. I'd probably still be there. Now I have a whole different way of thinking. I'm building something. All of this stuff that I'm doing is leading me somewhere. And I know I'm going to make it. And I'm able to do this. I'm able to inspire others and help you achieve a better life. You just got to follow through and keep believing and stay determined and never give up. And yes, you will have bad days. It's impossible. I had a bad week. This week was hard. Very hard. But today I feel good. I feel okay today. And maybe tomorrow will be a bad day. But you can't let the things that have been bringing you down win. You have to be bigger than that. You have to be bigger than that, and you can be. Anything and everything is possible in this life. I have learned that. I have seen amazing things. I have seen things recently that most people believe are impossible. I have seen things that most people think don't exist actually do exist. Things that are just mind-blowing. We don't know what life has in store for us, and we don't know everything that's here. So, take those bad things that have held you down, that make you feel awful, and use them to your advantage. And know, you can beat it. You can get through this. You will get through this. There is no reason to go put a rope around your neck or take a bottle of pills or slit your wrist or whatever you're thinking of doing. There's no reason to stay in bed for 3 or 4 days because you can't live anymore. There's no reason to believe that things aren't going to work out because somehow they can work out. Even if you don't have the answers, somehow it will. You just can't give up. That's the most important thing, is you have to hold on to faith and hope and believe in yourself and believe that things will get better and then make it happen. Just keep going. Just keep going. Keep believing. Keep doing it. It works. I'm proof. I've only told you a little bit of what happened these past 4 years. There is so much more. I can't even get into it all. I'm actually tired of it. But with all of that crap, and having every little thing that could go wrong, I'm here today. I'm here. I survived. And there are good things happening in my life. Good things. Things that I have dreamt about. Things that I had hoped would happen are happening. People I have reached that I have wronged, that I have made right. Of course, not everybody's accepting me. Some people must be really hurt. But the fact is, it's just never too late. And no matter how bad things get, you can make it. So, I really do apologize for this being a long video. I know you all have precious things to do in your life, and you have a lot to do, and you're busy. And nobody likes watching videos that long, but how do I tell you all of these things in 5 minutes or a 30-second video? I can't. But I believe that this video is deeply, deeply important to a lot of people. I'm not alone in what I've gone through. Everybody goes through something. You know, I was afraid to tell people that I had this anxiety issue, and especially afraid to tell people that I was mentally abused. I'm still having a hard time saying it. I know when I go to post this video online, I'm gonna be hesitant to do it. But I can't be afraid. And all of you have something. Each of you, every single human being has something that they're afraid to tell people. Whether it is some kind of mental condition, something sick, an illness you have, a disease you may have, something that you faced, an abuse you went through. We're all afraid. And the thing is we all have something. Even that person who seems to have it all, who seems to be happy, they have something. So there's no reason for us to hold back and be afraid. And I bet when you tell people, they're going to accept you. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And that's just it. It's going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. You are going to make it. You're going to survive. You're going to get past this. You're going to get through this. And when you get to that other side, you're going to be better. You're going to be a better person for it. I know you will. I know you will. Please share this video. Please post it to your timelines. Please tell others about it. Please like the video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Whatever you need to do. Let's get the word out. I know that I have a way to reach people with my voice. I have a way of getting through to you. I know I do. I know I do. So do something for someone else today and let them see this video. And tell people, okay, it's a bit long, but you need to stay and watch the whole thing. You need to. This could change your life. It can change your life. Thank you for watching and putting up with me. Thank you, and I wish you all the best.